to Around the World in 240 Minutes in association with Speakers Corner, who've collaborated with a number of expert keynote speakers from around the world to deliver this global virtual event. And it's a first for them in doing so. So wherever you are in the world today, thank you so much for joining us. It really is very much appreciated. I'm Nadine Dereza, and I'm going to be hosting this event today, as well as co-driving it technically over the next 240 minutes, so wish me luck, as we showcase how the power of the spoken word can inspire us to reach our true potential, even during the most challenging of times. Now, realistically, some of you may not be able to stay for the full broadcast, so you're welcome to pop in and out, depending on your other time commitments today. Alternatively, I would love you to spend the next 240 minutes with me, so we're in it together. I know the time fly by very quickly. The choice is yours. As mentioned, it is a showcase, and with that in mind, each speaker will present for 15 minutes, and then that'll be followed by a very short Q&A for about 2 to 3 minutes maximum. And then I'm going to move on to the next speaker and so on and so forth. We have 11 speakers lined up, and the idea is you're going to get some insights from around the world, maybe find out some different things about different countries you didn't think was possible or conceivable. Who knows? It's going to be some fresh insights. And we're going to be journeying to several countries, including likes of Australia, Ireland, Germany, and I don't want to sound like the Eurovision Song Contest, but we've got Russia in there as well, South Africa, the UAE, UK, and the good US of A, not necessarily in that order. And you can see the current running order on the Speakers Corner website, on the blog page of the site, or open up the PDF that you should have been sent when you were invited to register for this event. Now, the speaker intros I'm going to do are going to be incredibly short because I'm keen to maximise their speaking time, and the full biography details are also available on the Speaker Corner's website, and you can find loads of information about them that as well. And I know Nick and Dan from the Bureau are watching from their HQ throughout the broadcast, and of course socially distancing in the process. They're on hand to assist me as well, should the need arise, as well as being ready to speak to you if you want to talk to them about any of the speakers that we're featuring today. Now, in terms of submitting questions for the very short Q&As, please start sending them in now through the Q&A function. And if you could do me a favour, if you could write down the name of the speaker you would like the question directed at, that would be a great help, so I can get through the programme as quickly as possible. It would make my life a lot easier, as well as making sure the question is directed at the right person. First names will be fine, because for once we don't have any names being duplicated throughout this programme. If you could also put down where you're from, I'd love to know where you're watching this event or where you live at the moment, so we can see how truly global this event is. Now, of course, Twitter, we've got some usual details for you. You should all know the handle for Speakers Corner. It's speakers_corner, so speakers_corner. And the hashtag that we're using for this event is hashtag 240mins. And you can see no expense has been spared. I've even put a light box together with the name of the programme. You can see the hashtag down there if you need reminding at all. So it's hashtag 240minutes. Maybe send some pictures of where you are and what you're particularly liking about the programme, and something that's really sparked your imagination, some content you've heard that's going to make you do something different as a result of hearing one of the speakers. Share it with us. It'd be lovely to hear your thoughts. So we start our Around the World in 240 minute showcase in the United Arab Emirates, or the UAE. And I'm delighted to welcome Reg Athwal to this showcase. Now, Reg is an entrepreneur, he's a global family business, best-selling author, online content creator, and a global speaker. My goodness, does he get any time to sleep? This man is a busy guy. And he's here to talk to you about the rule of 63. So please give a virtual welcome to Reg Athwal.
Hello, how's everyone doing? I hope everyone's well, and welcome. I'm glad to be the opening keynote speaker. I have 15 minutes to give you value. My title of my speech is The Rule of 63. What does that mean? Well, let me go back to around 2008. So I was in Dubai. I've got 4 children. 2 of my oldest kids at the time were playing football at a professional level. In fact, they started in the UK, and they were with Corva Coaching. Some of you may know them in the UK. Arsenal Football Academy, eventually in Dubai, Al Nassr Football Club. And why do I share this story with you? As a busy father traveling around the world, it was precious to me to be able to see them train. Very, very important. So having that opportunity one day, there I am at the football ground, the training ground, and on this lucky occasion, the head coach has turned up. He's a Dutch coach. Social distance even at that time was going on. He's at the end of the pitch. I'm there watching, and all I can hear is, and I look over at him and I think, obviously he's upset about something. Something's not right. So I decided to walk over and I say, hi, is everything okay? I'm the father of Rian and Karan, my 2 oldest boys. They're with your team. We haven't had a chance to meet before. Are you okay? You look a bit upset. He says, they're not doing it right. I said, doing what? So to put this into context, full football pitch, half the squad on one side, on the corner, cones all the way down to the other side, half the team on this side, cones all the way down. The objective is to get through the cones as fast as possible. You're timed, get to the outer cone, pass the ball accurately to your colleague and make sure that they do the same, and then go back and join the queue again, over and over and over and over again. And all here is, no, it's not right. I said, but what is it you see? He said, look, watch the next boy. Look where he starts from and look where he finishes. I couldn't see what he could see. And then eventually I got it. He said, look, when they get to the last cone, they're meant to be on the outside before they pass the ball. But if you start from the wrong place, you're going to be on the inside. You need to take an extra step. And as a result of that, that's going to cost us in 90 minutes. That extra step could be the difference between winning and losing. Wow. What a breakthrough moment. In that moment, what I learned was a valuable lesson, which was corrective action. Because what I said to him, what are you going to do now? He said, talking to you, I'm going to go over there, speak to the other coach, and make sure you get this right. And he had a whisper in the other coach's ear, came back. I said, what's going to happen now? He goes, well, you thought you were probably going home in an hour, take your boys home, but no, we're going to train for another 2 hours, and we're going to get this right. So let me pause for a second. In your business, when it comes to your team, how frequently do you observe what people actually do? Whether it's from a sales point of view, whether it's dealing with customers, whether it's meetings, whether it's strategy related stuff, product development, whatever it may be, any touch points of the business, how frequently do you observe what's going on? And that day I learned a couple of things. One, it's about observing what people are doing and seeing it with your own eyes. And 2, if you see something that's not right, get involved immediately, create corrective action, and then make sure you get people doing it over and over again. So how does this link in with the rule of 63? Well, between 2005 and 2008, I decided to get involved in some extensive research. I was curious, how can I have been into some companies and I see some people who are very average. They don't have high intelligence, but yet they're successful. And I come across other people with high degrees of intelligence, IQ, and yet they're not successful. How come I can go into building and everyone's working for the same company in an open planned office, and there's a team on one side that are successful, and there's another team in the same open planned office that are not successful? Why? They've got the same targets, they report to the same manager, they have the same shareholders and the same owner or the director. What is going on here? And this curiosity led to eventually going into companies and understanding what is really going on. So let me summarize. The rule of 63 starts off with understanding, if you can visualize a circle, an inner circle and an outer circle. As I was doing this research, I discovered that on the outer circle, you could focus on abilities and competencies and skills and train people up. But that's not going to create transformation. What you have to work on is in the inner circle, self. And you've probably heard some of these words: self-discipline, self-confidence, self-talk. The list goes on, self-motivation. So I decided to focus on two of those areas, which was linked to self-discipline and self-confidence. And I asked myself, if people could do the right things every day, consistently, and had absolute razor-sharp focus in that area, could they be successful? And the end result was this. I had heard of this concept of, if you do something for 21 days, it becomes a habit. Have any of you come across that before? Maybe you can put it in the chat. And I thought, let me put this to the test, because I've done things for 21 days, but then I've gone back to my old operating system, my default setting. You know, whether it's in a business context, in a health situation, with a relationship, why do we keep going back to version 1.0, the default setting? Why is the upgrade not permanent? And then I had the breakthrough after experimenting with many clients. Here's how it works in very simple format for you. The first thing to do is pick one thing, only one thing you'd like to transform in your business, in your department, in your life. And by the way, could you all mentally focus on that right now? What is that one thing for you that you would like to transform? Mentally focus on it right now. And what would be one thing that you can do every day, which is really simple, in that area, every day for the next 21 days? I've just gone through the process the last 3 months where I've been creating a video every day. And now I've got to a point where I love doing it and I'm going to keep doing it. But the first couple of months last year was really difficult. I was lucky if I did one video on my online platform a month, got to 2 a month. But when I absolutely cracked it is when I did 1 a day. So going back to yourself, what is one thing that you could do which is really simple, but you're prepared to commit to it for 21 days? So I call this the change process in this cycle. Then what you do is you upgrade for another 21 days, and this time you take a bit more responsibility. You've now gone from being uncomfortable, oh, I can't do this, I'm not sure I want to do this. You've gone through the change process, and now there's a little bit of routine kicking in. There's a bit of appreciation. You're getting used to it. Maybe there's some quick wins that are coming for you, or you've had some wins. Your confidence is starting to build up. If you maintain this for another cycle of 21 days and you've got to 42, you're almost there. The next stage is another 21-day cycle to take it to 63 days. And in that last 21 days, you start to establish that foundation of transformation, from going from change process to building a habit process to eventually transformation. And I've done this with hundreds of companies around the world with their employees, and we've seen transformation happen during those 63 days. So picture if you started this tomorrow morning and you want to transform the last quarter of this year, starting from 1st of October, it starts from tomorrow morning. What is the one thing you're going to focus on and not let go of all the way through to the end of July? Upgrade, another 21-day cycle, end of August, upgrade, and then you'll get to the 29th of September based on working 5 days a week and taking your weekends off. And you will start to reap the benefits of this discipline. So that leads me to sharing with you 2 tools, which we've created many years ago as a result of this research. And the first one is called DDI. I'm sure some of you have come across key result areas in your business, okay, which is for medium to long-term results that need to be achieved. I'm sure some of you have got KPIs, key performance indicators, that you may be reviewing every 2 weeks or every month. One of the other things I realized looking at these companies was if you're reviewing things on just a monthly basis and you're trying to create transformation, it doesn't work. There has to be frequency. Some people call it micromanaging, especially in a crisis situation, but you need to be on top of something. It doesn't have to be micromanaging, but you are micro overseeing, a bit like the Dutch coach. You have to observe on a daily basis what's going on. So we created DDI. It's called Daily Discipline Indicator. It's linked to the rule of 63 with that 21-day cycle. And it's about the daily discipline of the one thing that you need to focus on as your indicator for success. And now you focus on that every single day. So I'm sure that's very simple to understand. If you've got your KRAs, you've got your KPIs, well done. What's your DDI? What's your daily discipline indicator? Only one thing, and that will support you with your 21-day cycle change process, next 21 days, habit process, Last 21 days, establish transformation, and then reap the benefits. So the next part of this research, as we're working with clients, we realize this is working. However, there are people who are slipping. They're slipping sometimes to the old operating system rather than upgrading fully. So what do we do? Well, the next thing came in, which was accountability. We all need accountability to create that transformation. So the next tool that we created was what we call ROI, not return on investment, but it will lead to that if you implement what I'm going to share now when it comes to ROI. Let me explain the ROI process, and hopefully you can implement this literally tonight, tomorrow morning with your teams, as well as focusing on that DDI, one thing every day with those 63 days. So how does it link? Well, imagine I'm your boss and you decide to do a daily ROI. And you're going to send me an email at the end of the day. Let's say we agree some ground rules, 5 p.m. You'll send me your ROI. It'll take you no more than a couple of minutes to do. You'll send it to me by email or any other app or device system, cloud-based stuff, software, whatever you're using for communication tools in your organization, whatever works. For now, I'm just sticking with email if that's okay. So at 5 o'clock, let's say Fred emails me and I get an email. I know who it's from. I know the department. I've got the date. I can see that. And it's, boing, it's turned up in my inbox at 5 p.m. What's in the email? The first heading will be what we call results. Okay? Capital letters, results. And underneath that, here are the ground rules. We call it the 7x7 rule. We're looking for no more than 7 bullet points. And in each bullet point, there's an average of 7 words. Why is this important? Because it's easy to digest, and it also trains people with the ground rules that we have is not to give stories, we want facts. I'm not looking for a chapter of a book. We also want results, we don't want excuses. We also want to see what could be measurable, what's increased or decreased or grown or reduced, whatever. We become more efficient, more productive. How many calls did we make? How many customers did we meet? Did our footprint increase? Whatever it may be. So hopefully you've all got that results, 7x7, and on each one of those bullet points or lines, you've got specific things on what's been achieved for today. Simple. Next, below the results, you've got the next heading in ROI, which is objectives. Same rules apply, but the objectives that are listed are for what you've got planned for tomorrow. So you're getting into a mental state of rehearsal, just like athletes. They don't just turn up for the 100-meter sprint. They've rehearsed for 5 hours a day, months in advance. So by getting people to rehearse the night before, they're already thinking about what they've got to do tomorrow. It brings focus. And now what I'm looking for is those 7x7 bullet points, sharing with me exactly what they've got planned and what are their objectives for tomorrow. The last bit is the I in ROI, which could be negative or positive. The first one would be issues. So maybe they have an issue, normally in 4 areas. Themselves, they have an issue somewhere. They need some coaching or support or training or whatever, or clarity. Or it's the team, the second one. We call it, there's a team issue. Third one, it's a company issue. And fourth, it's external. Okay, 4 things to remember whenever there's issues. You, the team, the company, or external. So they list it out, and we're going to basically address those things immediately. Maybe they'll get a call from me as soon as I get the ROI and say, look, I've noticed that you've got this issue. Let me connect you with Nigel. Let me connect you with Steph, because maybe that's what we need to sort out immediately so you are good to go tomorrow morning. If you don't have this daily rhythm, you'll be shocked how many people put issues under the carpet. And it's affecting the results of the company. 1 month goes, a quarter's gone. Before you know it, 6 months has gone. Before you know it, a year's gone, and we haven't hit our targets. So it can also be positive, which is ideas, improvement, innovation. Maybe they've picked up something that was really good and it could be replicated. It could also help other people in the organization, or it's an idea that can be parked and it's for the innovations meeting we're going to have at the end of the month. ROI, results, objectives, issues, ideas, improvements, innovation. If you've got this going on every single day with your manager, your direct report, your boss, the owner, and subsequently doing this with your team, and we've seen this cascade down in some of our family business clients around the world with 2,000-3,000 employees. Very, very powerful. So on that note, okay, I think in summary, I wanted to leave you with the rule of 63. 21 days, 21 days, 21 days. Pick the one thing from a DDI point of view that you need to work on. Stick to doing that and get some accountability with your daily ROI with your boss, and subsequently do it with your team. And I can assure you, by 1st of October, you will start reaping the benefits for the last quarter of 2020. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Reg, indeed. I loved the idea of your daily discipline indicators. And I know you've been putting that to good use all around the world. I mean, I've just seen that you're a world certified speaker. I just want to get your thoughts, though, on your impression about what the situation we're going through at the moment. It's going to take a different set of leadership skills, isn't it? And a new way of thinking to get through these times. So everything that you've spoken about today, that rule of 63 and the DDI ROI, is that applicable? Does that work?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, with a crisis situation, and you've got to remember the research that I originally did was 2005 to 2000. So by the time we finished the research, we thought we're done, when really we'd only just started because the global recession came along, Nadine. And when that recession came along, we carried on with this process of rule of 63, the DDI, and the daily and weekly ROIs in some cases with some teams. And every single one of our clients we work with during that crisis is here today and still prosperous and grown. For me, the next test is now, pandemic 2020. And we'll make sure that we continue with the implementation of these things. But yes, it's simple, it works. When there's chaos or a tornado or a hurricane in our culture, we need even more focus. And it has to be kept simple. And that's what these tools do.
Indeed. And I know you've obviously spoken around the world at numerous conferences and shows, but it's so much more than just speaking, isn't it? It's actually helping clients, and that particular focus on family businesses as well. Can you share with us some of your successes that you've had with clients and what they've managed to achieve as a result of meeting the power that is Reg?
Well, we as speakers, and all my fellow speakers who will be integrating with what I call that outer circle, when I was talking about the inner and outer circle, they'll be touching on all those points. We are all experts, authorities in our area. We will give great ideas, but ideas on their own don't mean anything. It's all about implementation. If I can leave you with this one thing, as you listen to my fellow speakers, is you've got to take action from what you're going to learn today. If you're just listening and you're in and out, and it's a big thank you at the end and you don't do anything, this is a waste of your time and our time. And so for me, it's about implementation. And to answer your question, Nadine, let me summarize. We work with 128 entrepreneurial and family businesses around the world in 22 countries. From doing these things, we've increased their revenues by $6.2 billion and increased their equity value. That's the result, from doing these things. So I hope that answers your question.
Absolutely, Reg. And just very quickly, that would have been a nice way to end. However, I did ask people to send questions. It'd be very rude of me not to bring in Christoph from Belgium, who's written a lovely question. I say bring in, I'm going to read the question out. How often should one apply the ROI method? Weekly? What's the periodicity of it?
Yeah, really, really good question. Thanks for that. I recommend that if you're in a situation where you really need transformation, you need the results, things are not working, you've got to have your rhythm of your daily ROI with your teams, okay? It's only going to take a few minutes in the morning to maybe discuss your ROI with them, make sure you're getting it by email, whatever system every day. But when things are working, I'd suggest you move to a weekly ROI. Some of our clients around the world have gone to a fortnightly ROI and then gone, we want to go back to weekly because we feel more accountability on a weekly basis. Because if things aren't working for 1 week, you've already lost 1 week of the month. Why leave it to random chance? Be on top of things. So I'm really glad you've asked that question. There's another tool which I haven't shared today, but it's the mother of ROI. It's called ROPE, Results, Objectives, Plan, and Execution. And ROPE has 20 guidelines of a proper presentation that's done at the end of the month with everyone round the table with proper facts presentations. So that's what would happen on a monthly basis.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Reg. And what a fantastic way to actually start this showcase. Thank you, Reg, for all your hard work. And of course, speak to the Speakers Corner office. This is a guy that is incredibly experienced, one of the top world keynote speakers. It's been an absolute pleasure. Say hello to the UAE from the rest of the world, and good luck to you. Thank you, Reg, indeed.
Thank you.